YouTube, it's Legend. I thought I would do something a little different today. I'm going to go through my list of the high yield ETFs. They are from YIELDMAX, DEFINANCE, and ROUNDHILL. So I have a few of each of those. They have several ETFs in each of those funds. And I'm just going to kind of lay out where I'm at in it, how much I have in each one, and we're kind of going to start trying to track those as well. And I hope to also be able to talk about how I'm going to handle these going forward. So the first one I wanted to get into was IWMY. It's a Defiance fund. They pay out weekly dividends. As you can see here, they used to be monthly. There was monthly dividends, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And then since October, they have moved to weekly payouts on the dividends. Now, you're seeing it, the X date of October 10th, October 17th, and October 24th, which is the last one that they paid out. And that last one they paid out was 30 cents per share. So each time this one pays out, it will pay out every Thursday is the ex-dividend date, and it pays out on Friday. You have to own those shares before Thursday in order to get paid that dividend. Next one is QDTE. That's ROUNDHILL. It pays out weekly dividends as well. 20 cent, 31 cent, 26 cent, and that is per share. And that one, like I said, it pays out weekly. QQQY, that one's a Defiance fund. It's now paying out weekly, just like the IWMY was with the Defiance fund as well. It used to be monthly, and now it's weekly. And it's been paying 27, 27, 34. So it's around that 30 cent roughly average mark that you would get every week on that one. WDTE is a Defiance off of the S&P. It is paying weekly as well, 25 cent, 25 cent, 33 cents. So these just switched from monthly to now weekly. The next is YMAX. That is the YIELDMAX ETF, and what this one is a fund of funds. So what that means is the YIELDMAX fund contains all of those separate individual ones into one ETF, and it pays out weekly. It used to be monthly as well. It has switched to weekly, and it looks like it's pretty consistent around the 20 cent range per share each week. AMDY, that's YIELDMAX fund. The AMDY uses the underlying AMD, and it pays out monthly dividends. JEPQ, that's a JP Morgan ETF, and that one pays out monthly. 55 cent, 55 cent, 42 cents. So looks like about an average about maybe 50 cent a share per week. MSTY, that's a YIELDMAX ETF, and that one pays out monthly as well. NVDY, it has the underlying NVIDIA, and that one pays out monthly of about $1.09 this last payout. PLTY, which is the Palantir underline that it uses to write its options against, will pay out monthly. They have not had a payout yet because it is new. It just came out the 1st of October. So this one has not been out a full month yet. So we will not get a payout on that one until the month has passed. So that's all the YIELDMAX, Defiance, and ROUNDHILL high yield ETFs that I currently have. Okay, here we are on the YIELDMAX ETF website. This is where you can go and you can see each one that they have available, and you can also see their payout schedule. The ETFs that they currently have that they have covered calls against is, as you can see, Tesla. They have one that the underlines for Apple, one for Amazon, Google, Netflix, Microsoft, JP Morgan, PayPal, and so forth. They have several here that they do covered calls against, and over here as well. So a lot to pick from. This down here is where I was talking about the fund of funds. This is the YIELDMAX, so it has all of the ETFs in it, and the YIELDMAG, which is the Magnificent 7, which that would be for Tesla, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and NVDY. And that's the Magnificent 7. So it writes the calls against them to generate the dividends. So that's the list of ETFs they have. And if we scroll all the way down, we can see their distribution schedules here. So let's click that. We'll pull up their distribution schedule. And you can see that they actually have them grouped into 4 groups. Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. Now all of their ETFs minus the YMAX and the YMAG pay out monthly. So say you have one of each one across the top line, just as an example. So you have Tesla, NVDY, Coney, and MSTY. You could potentially then earn a dividend each week. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then starts all over again. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And as long as they pay out the dividend, you would receive a dividend once a week, even though their stocks only pay a dividend monthly. So by breaking it up into 4 groups, they have turned it into where you can potentially receive a dividend weekly on these YIELDMAX ETFs. So I think that was a new and exciting change for them. I like how they've done this so that you can potentially earn a dividend once a week just from your YIELDMAX. Now let's take a look at the DEFINANCE. And in DEFINANCE funds, ETFs, we can go to their drop down here. And the ones that I'm in are in the income section. I have the QQQY, which is the NASDAQ 100. I have the WDTE, which is S&P 500, and the IWMY, which runs options off of the Russell 2000. As for the DEFINANCE, they pay out weekly. So every single week you would receive, or potentially could receive, a dividend for each one of these each week. So for me, each Friday I get paid for QQQY, WDTE, IWMY. So each week I get a dividend for those 3 that I do own. So let me show you a quick spreadsheet that I've put together. It's kind of interesting, and I have a neat little method that I'm going to try out. I'm just starting this, so let's see how this works out. Okay, so here we have the high yielder strategy portfolio. So I have just quickly put together a summary here at the top to show the ETFs I do own and which week they're paying out. I also have their current price and the number of shares I have of each. So my weekly earners here are IWMY, QDTE, QQQY, WDTE, and YMAX. Those will pay a dividend every week. My monthly earners, meaning that it only pays once a month, are AMDY, JEPQ, MSTY, NVDY, and PLTY. Now those pay every month, but they're paying on different weeks of that month. As you can see, I'm calling out the payout week here. For AMDY, it pays the 3rd week. JEPQ is a little different. They only pay once a month on the same day of each month. MSTY, which pays out on the 4th week, NVDY pays on the 2nd week, and PLTY pays on that 2nd week. So my monthly monthly payers, the way I have it strung out is I'll have a payout each week from my monthly. JEPQ will pay me the first week. NVDY and PLTY will pay me the second week. The third week, AMDY will pay me a dividend. And the fourth week, MSTY will pay me a dividend. So let me show you kind of what I've decided to try to do, and we'll see how this works. So what I have here is I have a chart of each stock ticker here. This is just a running date. So I have my stock tickers here. I've grouped them into the weekly, every single week payout. And I have my monthly payers with the week that they pay. So each week number is over here. So if the two match up and I get paid out on this day and I get paid this amount, then it's going to populate. So here I'm showing all of the stocks that I own in the high yield account. I have, these are my weekly payers, these are my monthly payers, the amount that I've earned on each, and they get added up over here at the far right hand side and then populated into the total box right here. So the way this works is as my weekly payers pay me, I will use those dividends that I earned for those weekly payers, and I will purchase more shares of the monthly payer that would be at X dividend. In this case, I earned $500 here and I earned $600 for AMDY. Again, I'm rounding the numbers to try to simplify it. So my weeklies earned me a total of $500 and my monthly AMDY earned me $600. So what I will do is that $600 will be used to buy more shares of my weekly right here. So that will $600 would be divided among these 5 stocks, and I will buy shares of each one of those using the $600 that I earned. And for the weekly payers, I will use that, and in this case I'm saying I earned about $500, and I will use that to purchase $500 worth of the monthly payout stock. In this case would be MSTY. So that $500 would then go to buy more shares of MSTY. And as MSTY earns money, then that earnings or dividends from that stock would go to buy more of the weekly payers. So the way I have it set up is my weekly payers or my weekly payout stocks will buy more shares of the monthly payout stock when it goes to X dividend, because at X dividend, that is potentially when the stock would drop the amount of the dividend that is paid out. So potentially that could be a low point in the stock. So I will use my weekly payout money to buy more shares of the monthly payout stock that is in X dividend, thinking that that would be the lower price for that stock, and vice versa. So as my monthly payer pays a dividend, then I would buy the weekly stock from what I earned of the monthly payer. So since those pay out weekly and the X dividend for the weekly would be on Thursday, I would look to split up whatever, for this example, Misty paid me, and I would split that amount up among the weekly payers. So if I have 5 weekly payers and I earned $500 for Misty, then I would buy $100 worth of each of the weekly payer stocks. So $500 of dividends earned off of Misty would mean I would buy $100 worth of IWMY, $100 worth of QDTE, of QQQY, WDTE, and $100 worth of YMAX. And again, in the same sense, if each one of my weekly payers paid me out that week of $100 each, that's $500 total, then the stock that it would go to fund in this example would be JEPQ, because it would be at the X date, the X dividend date. So whatever whatever stock is at the ex-dividend date at that time is the one where you would put your dividend money that you earned toward. So in essence, each funds each other, and you're not having to put more money into it. It is actually funding itself. You just have your initial capital put into it, and you're just allowing it to compound and increase the amount of dividends that you're earning, so that at some point you get to a large enough amount that you can start withdrawing a portion of that while it's still growing. So I know that might have been a little confusing, but we will see if I can clarify that over the next few days. I'll try to make something that is a little clearer. It is something I'm trying here, and I'm having my weeklies fund my monthlies, and my monthlies fund my weeklies by using the generated dividends that they've earned. Okay, so I think that's going to wrap it up today. I just thought I would do something a little bit different. This is off of YIELDMAX. This is off of DEFINANCE. And I also have some ROUNDHILL ETFs in there and earning some of that high yield dividends. So it's very interesting, and we'll see how it goes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos and share this video with others who may find it interesting and helpful. So until next time, Legend out.